Back at the center of baseball, the Boston Red Sox, the New York Yankees on Baseball Night in America. They have been the two best teams in baseball all season, not separated more than 2.5 games since the beginning of May. And tonight they play Game 2 of this weekend series. It is the Red Sox and the Yankees from the Bronx on Baseball Night in America, and we are thrilled that you're here with us for it. Welcome inside. Joe Davis, Tom Verducci, Ken Rosenthal joins us in a moment. The Yankees get it done in Game 1 last night by a final of 8-1 in pretty typical Yankee fashion. They hit 4 home runs, and they got one of them from Aaron Judge.
Well, Aaron Judge in Yankee Stadium, it's like a fine tailor crafting the perfect suit, because his swing is made for this ballpark. The way he can take fastballs and hit them out the other way, well, it's uncanny, and the Red Sox found out yet again last night how well he can do that. His numbers in this ballpark are staggering. That was career home run number 50 for Aaron Judge in this yard in only 134 games. Listen, when you play the Yankees, job one, defend the home run. And it starts with that man right there trying to keep him in the yard.
So you've got Judge in one of the more powerful lineups this game has ever seen, and a pretty tough customer trying to shut him down in Chris Sale.
Well, Chris Sale, full stop here, the best left-handed pitcher in baseball. And he's actually been throwing harder this month. His last start averaged 98 miles per hour. This is a guy who loves to pitch on adrenaline. And tonight, well, the stage is made for adrenaline. The best left-handed pitcher in baseball against the best home run hitting team in baseball, the two best records in baseball. Folks, tonight, this is the epicenter of baseball.
Let's do it then. Best this has been set up in more than a decade. The Yankees and the Red Sox from a Yankee Stadium. First pitch coming up on the other side of this break. Night in a row. It's the hottest it's been for a game this season. Joe Davis, Tom Verducci, Ken Rosenthal. As the Red Sox and Yankees play Game 2 of the weekend. The best combined record these teams have had ever entering a head-to-head matchup this deep into a season. So we've reached the final day of June. Take a look at the Red Sox lineup here for Game 2. Been out by Alex Cora. Mookie Betts putting together an MVP case this season. He'll lead it off, followed by Andrew Benintendi. JD Martinez has been so good in his first year in Boston. In the middle of the order, it's Moreland, Bogaerts, and Devers, with Nunez at second, Leon doing the catching, and Jackie Bradley Jr., who's been heating up lately, out of the 9th spot. Sonny Gray has shown flashes for the Yankees since they acquired him at the deadline last year, but in this ballpark, he's consistently struggled.
Yeah, you see those numbers at home here. Let's take a look at the scouting report on Sonny Gray. For me, it's about his pace, not just between pitches, but the pace of his delivery. Much better lately, much quicker. Last start, he found something in his slider. He had good bite on that slider. We'll keep an eye on that tonight. We mentioned heavy pinstripes. Reggie Jackson likes to say, when you get here to New York, you put on those pinstripes. At first, they're very, very heavy. All the expectations. Sonny Gray still feeling them heavy.
We saw that 6.5 ERA for him at home versus a sub-3 on the road. The Yankees defense sponsored by Bright House Financial, and in the outfield it's Gardner, Hicks, and Judge. Infield has a couple of rookies in it, Andujar and Torres, with Gregorius at short. Drury back in the big leagues making his first career start at first base. And Austin Romine doing the catching. Gary Sanchez on the disabled list for the Yankees. Our keys to the game tonight sponsored by Ford.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to a certain game in '78, Yankees Red Sox. See if you can guess, Joe. The Red Sox, 3 dents for Sale. For Chris Sale, when they get him 3 runs, he's 22-4. And for the Yankees, deep to left. That was Bill White, if you remember. They're 30-8, the Yankees are, when they hit more than 1 home run. Got to keep them in the yard if you want to beat New York.
Hit 4 of them last night. Got 7 innings from CC Sabathia. Took the opener by a final of 8-1. The Yankees have now won 3 of 4 since their first 3-game losing streak of the year in Tampa over the weekend. That is strike 1 on Mookie Betts. Betts #1 in the majors in slugging. He's #2 in average. He's 3rd in on-base percentage. He's behind Gray 0-2.
Good curveball right there. He's got 2 different breaking balls. Both are excellent. That's the overhand curve right there.
And 0-2. Taken in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This Red Sox offense tied for first in the majors with the Yankees at better than 5 runs per game. And 1 year after they were dead last in the American League in home runs, they trail only the Yankees in that category in the AL. On a 1-2. Betts flies one to right field for Aaron Judge, and the first out of the night. Boy, it's uncanny, isn't it? I mean, We're on the last day of June. They have the exact same runs per game, the exact same OPS. They're 1st and 2nd in home runs and in slugging.
These teams are in lockstep. 2 months now. 2 months. They have not been separated by more than 2 games. Wouldn't it be great if it stayed this way all year? Because, Joe, you know where the last 3 games are, right?
Yeah, they'll be at Fenway. They'll play 6 times over the last couple of weeks of the year. With 1 out, it's Andrew Benintendi, who has really turned it on for the Red Sox after a slow first month and has made it easy to forget that he's only 23 years old.
Loves hitting in this park. He's actually more of a pull hitter here at the stadium. The short porch and right.
He's got 6 home runs in 14 games here, which is the most of anybody over the last 2 years. On a 1-1 pitch, Benintendi looks at a fastball strike, and it's 1-2.
Brian O'Nora giving him the outside corner right there, and Gray so far is showing plus velocity. He's up a tick or 2 this early in a hot night.
Benintendi flips one down the line. Foul. Sonny Gray, 28 years old. Been much better lately. Gave up 4 runs against Tampa Bay his last time out, but 3 of them came early. Then he really settled in, retired 15 in a row at one point. And walks, which were a huge issue over the first couple of months, he's been able to tamper those down.
And the difference for me, Joe, is Austin Romine behind the plate. The Yankees have told Sonny Gray, just follow him. Sonny's got so many pitches, and he's a classic overthinker. He loves pitch sequencing, and he wants the perfect sequence to get a strikeout. Well, they've told him at the start of this month, just follow Austin Romine. If you see him shake Austin Romine twice tonight, that will be a lot.
Another 1-2. Benintendi hits a ground ball to second. Torres has it. 2 up and 2 down. And no choice right now. As we mentioned, Gary Sanchez on the disabled list. Went down on Sunday with a groin injury. And so Romine getting his first opportunity at an everyday role.
And these guys have clicked. I mean, Sonny did have a little trouble getting on the same page with Gary Sanchez, and Austin became his personal catcher. But this month has been really good between the two of them.
The season has been really good for this guy, leading the majors in home runs and in RBIs in his first year in Boston. J.D. Martinez looks at a first pitch breaking ball for a strike. Hard to believe that it went until late February before this guy had a deal. 5 years, $110 million. That at this point feels like a bargain.
I don't know what took so long, because that marriage was perfect. This Red Sox team needed impact bat. You can almost hear the wheels turning in his head. I don't know of anybody, maybe Joey Votto, as studious a hitter as J.D. Martinez.
Takes a strike 1 and 2.
And you're watching here between each pitch. I mean, this is super concentration. This would never happen before. A batter actually slowed down Sonny Gray. Typically, it'd be the opposite. Like, come on, throw the ball.
That Gray last year was the slowest worker in baseball. He sped that up significantly this season. Martinez grounds it foul to stay alive. Second time he's faced these Red Sox this season. First time was not good. Really, throughout his career, he's struggled against Boston. An .866 earned run average for Sonny Gray against the Red Sox. Looking for a 1-2-3 first. Home with a 1-2. And Martinez pumps it foul.
That's classic J.D. Martinez right there. He likes to hit fastballs deep, and especially with 2 strikes, you're going to see him take velocity the other way. This is protecting with 2 strikes. See how deep? Basically hits it out of the glove of Romine. It's his default hitting strategy. Let the fastball travel.
Another 1-2. Red Sox, by many measures, one of the best 2-strike hitting teams in baseball. Making Gray work with 2 strikes here. And he'll have to do it again. It's been a new emphasis with Alex Cora and the new hitting coach Tim Hires, both in their first seasons.
Now, let me tell you, J.D. Martinez has something to do with that as well. I've talked about how much he studies the game, but he loves talking hitting with his teammates, and I think he's the kind of hitter who makes his teammates better.
8th pitch of the at-bat. Martinez hits a ground ball up the middle. Behind the bag, it's Torres across his body, but late. And the major league leader in home runs has an infield single after a lot of hard work with 2 strikes.
Yeah, early in the count, they would shift more. You see where Torres is playing. Early in the count, he shaded more, but because of that 2-strike approach, He's going to stay more at home in a traditional second base position. Great range, but not nearly enough time to get Martinez.
That gets Mitch Moreland to the plate here in the first inning. 32-year-old having a career year with Boston. Into an everyday role when they designated Hanley Ramirez for assignment in late May. But then they go and get Steve Pearce, and it sounds like more of a platoon again moving forward.
This guy's having a really good year. He crushes fastballs in the zone. Also has a good history against Sonny Gray, and that was a well-placed first pitch once again, establishing the outside corner, getting the called strike.
Trying to go back there with an 0-1 and missing low.
Yeah, if you're going to give me that pitch, keep going out there.
Mentioned the good history for Moreland against Gray. A lot of that in the American League West. Moreland's first 7 years with Texas. Gray coming over from Oakland. He's homered against him 4 times. Martinez at first and 2 out. Here's a 1-1 pitch.
And Joe, those 4 home runs off fastballs that he likes to take to the middle of the field. The way the Yankees defend him, you say, well, he's a pull hitter, but you're looking at the infielders. When you look at the outfielders, you can see how much they respect his power the other way.
Two balls and a strike, and Moreland swings and misses at a breaking ball to even it up 2-2.
I would suspect we are going to see a ton of breaking balls tonight from Sonny Gray. It looks like he's got a good feel, especially for the curveball, but both breaking balls early on.
On the season, opponents sitting below 200 on both those pitches. The Red Sox had won 4 in a row coming into this series in 6 of 7. They sit at 55-28 in Alex Cora's first season. Yankees 53-26. Martinez off of first with 2 away, and another 2-2 pitch. Takes off on him and runs it full.
This will tell me a lot right here, this pitch. So far, 24 pitches you can see there. Half of them, 50%, have been breaking balls. More and more in today's game, Joe, you see pitchers on 3-2 going breaking ball. It's almost as if you're defending the home run, and here it comes.
Martinez will get a head start with a pitch, and it slipped out of his hand in ball 4. Back-to-back base runners for the Red Sox with 2 out.
And it's the biggest change I've seen in the game the last couple of years. It's become more of a home run game. Pitchers now do not mind the walk. I'm not going to give in and throw you a fastball even at 3-2. Didn't execute the curveball, but he's okay with the walk rather than giving in with a fastball. Now here you have Bogaerts, who loves to take first pitches. You got to make sure you take the strike if he gives you one.
And Yankees pitchers, as a staff, they use the fastball less than any team in baseball by a pretty wide margin. As Bogaerts climbs in with 2 on and 2 out here in the first. Goes after the first pitch and shoots a base hit to right. They get the stop sign at third as Judge guns it in, and the bases are loaded. It was hit out there so sharply, and Judge got to it quickly, and Martinez hung on.
He rarely will do that. That's a great job by Bogaerts ambushing Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray knows that Bogaerts doesn't mind hitting deep in counts. He'll give you a strike. Not there. Typically with 2 outs, you want to be aggressive, but no chance at all. You see Judge gets that ball before Martinez is even close to third base. Easy hold.
So that is 3 consecutive 2-out base runners for the Red Sox after Gray retired the first 2 men. And the 21-year-old Rafael Devers takes ball 1. Trending positively the last few weeks after a really rough start to the season. Got off to a great start to his big league career last year. That memorable home run in this ballpark against Aroldis Chapman. Who was really struggling over the first couple of months. Late on a fastball, and that has been the biggest issue over the first few months of the year for Devers.
Yeah, as you mentioned, better lately. The way he pulls off the fastball makes him, and that front hip left early, makes him vulnerable to that fastball away. And Sonny Gray has dotted up that location now 3 or 4 times.
On this 1-1 pitch, it's grounded foul, and it's 1-2. Hitless against Gray in his career. Now we don't have to wait long for a big spot in this one. Bases loaded, 2 out, top of the first. Down the left field line and deep. Back goes Gardner. That ball's gone. Devers with a grand slam. And the Red Sox with a 4-0 lead in the first.
Certainly stayed on that one, but that is a flat mistake by Sonny Gray. You have 2 strikes ahead of the count on a very aggressive swinger. This pitch cannot be close to the zone, certainly not up the way that it was. Give Devers credit for staying on that. Front hip it left earlier in that at bat, and that was much better with 2 strikes.
So the 21-year-old with a grand slam, and now Eduardo Nunez takes ball 1 as it's unraveled on Gray.
Breaking ball. Really, you want that bounce. That cannot be left up with 2 strikes. Just a mistake. Devers makes him pay.
Sonny Gray got the first 2 outs of this inning time on 10 pitches. He's now thrown 22 pitches since then, given up 4 runs and not recorded the 3rd out.
Go back to the J.D. Martinez at bat, right? He had 2 strikes on J.D. Martinez, and another professional at bat by Martinez. Gets on an infield hit, but even the pitches he fouled off to get to another pitch were impressive.
So it's now a 33 pitch inning for Gray. Chris Sale's not even taken the ball yet. He's got a 4-0 lead as Nunez taps it foul, and it's 2-2.
I mean, believe me, everybody can see the home run. It's going to be in the highlights by Devers, but in that dugout, they know what J.D. Martinez did. To get on base, down in the count, get Sonny Gray in the stretch. And his teammates took it from there.
And another foul ball with 2 strikes. I mean, it's amazing what J.D. Martinez has done just simply looking at the numbers. Home runs and RBIs both leading baseball. I think it's even more amazing to ask around that clubhouse and hear a consensus that he's already become the leader.
Yeah, Alex Cora, the manager, flat told me it's his team.
It's off of the hands, left side, and Duhar throws Nunez out. And the inning comes to a close with Sonny Gray here in the Bluebirds from the Bronx. The Red Sox try to even this series at a game apiece. Devers with a grand slam and Chris Sale with a 4-0 lead. and better as this season has gone on, and perhaps his biggest moment of this 2018 campaign with a first-inning grand slam. And now the Yankees will battle uphill. Here's a lineup that'll try and get it done. Aaron Hicks to lead it off. Then Judge and Stanton back-to-back. Gleyber Torres sitting cleanup for the first time in his career with Gregorius and Andujar. Drury back to the bigs, Austin Romine and Brett Gardner. Against Chris Sale, who's one of the best in the game, but especially the last few times out, he's taken it to another level.
He really has made some mechanical adjustments we'll talk about. As I said, he loves to pitch on adrenaline. Right now in his head, the score is 0-0.
Loves to pitch against the Yankees too. I guess those probably go hand in hand, the adrenaline thing. That earned run average against the Yankees of 173, the best since 1920. Aaron Hicks leads it off, takes ball one. Hicks quietly having a pretty good year for the Yankees. Hitting above 300 with 4 home runs in his last 10. On this 1-0 from Sale, he takes it at the knees, ball on a strike. '29-year-old from Lakeland, Florida. Coming off a 13 strikeout performance against Seattle. Opening this one by plunking Hicks.
This is his breaking ball with that sweep. They call it a back foot breaking ball. That was literally so.
So that put Hicks on to open the night for New York. Right in the shin.
I'm going to give you a forecast, Joe.
What do you got?
High 90s.
Can feel it.
Not the temperature, it's close.
Oh.
That's Chris Sale. His velocity has gone up this month. That pitch he just threw is actually an unhittable pitch. That slider that breaks down into right-handers. Literally, nobody has a hit on it this year. He talked about his numbers against the Yankees. The best of all time, lowest ERA, Chris Sale.
That includes a game in April when the temperature was much different than this. It was in the mid-30s as opposed to low 90s. We continued to take a look at Aaron Hicks. And he held the Yankees to 1 run in that game over 6 innings. Well, they take a look at Hicks. The defense for the Red Sox, sponsored by Bright House Financial. Very good outfield defensively, especially Bradley in center and Betts in right. Benintendi's made some nice plays lately in left. Devers second in the majors and Ayers at third. Bogaerts at short with Nunez at second. Moreland back in there at first, and Leone, per usual, doing the catching of Chris Sale. The umpiring crew for this one, Brian Onora, one of the more pitcher-friendly umpires in the game. The crew chief is fielding Colbreth. Hicks going to stay in. And up comes Aaron Judge. Unanimous Rookie of the Year a year ago, runner-up for MVP. And putting together one heck of a follow-up campaign, hitting home run number 21 last night.
And as good as that slider is down and in with Judge, he wants to go sliders away, fastballs up.
Slider through the back door, nothing in 2.
Yeah, you called it backdoor. It's so easy for a right-handed hitter to give up on that pitch. All 3 hits against Chris Sale by Judge have come in that game back in April.
It included a long home run from Judge for the lone Yankees run against Sale. Tried the slider again, taken low, 1-2. So he's got that home run against Sale, but he's also, as you saw a moment ago, struck out 10 times in his 15 ABs against him. On a 1-2, Aaron Judge. It's at foul. That home run that he hit against him at Fenway, Tom, was a monster shot.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't get the fastball up enough. See that exit velocity right there? That's the hardest ball hit off Chris Sale since we started measuring such things back in 2015. Absolute rocket.
Nothing personal to Sale. Judged consistently among the leaders in that category. With Hicks at first, nobody out. Here's a 1-2, and he got him swinging. 99 with a fastball to the corner, 1 out.
99, you called it, stayed away throughout this at bat.
So 1 on, 1 out. Now Chris Sale goes to work against Giancarlo Stanton. Fouls the first one back as Sale touches 100. Stanton started this season with 2 home runs at Toronto on opening day. The Yankees came home. Everybody fired up about his debut. That opening homestand, though, he has 2 5-strikeout games and started to hear the boos. Took him a while to climb out of it. Really hitting his stride the last couple weeks, though. Stanton hitting .380 the last 2 weeks. 3rd in the American League in OPS in that span.
You saw Giancarlo's surprise that was called a strike. That got a lot of the plate, and it tells you how much break Sale has on that breaking ball.
Comes with an 0-2. Hard ground ball, base hit. Stanton stays hot with a single to center. 1st and 2nd with 1 out.
And Joe, it's the biggest difference I've seen in Giancarlo the last few weeks as he's heated up. Timing on the fastball. He could not catch up with a fastball early in the season. Pitchers took advantage of it. This is 99, and he is on time. Short, quick swing. He's a heavy rotational hitter. That ball was absolutely scorched. Red Sox throw him a lot of fastballs. And he has done some damage against Boston this year.
So 1st and 2nd with 1 gone, and for the first time in his major league career, Gleyber Torres hits cleanup for the Yankees. He's the youngest player to bat cleanup for the Yankees since the guy you might have heard of, Mickey Mantle, in 1953.
Wow. And it's only against Chris Sale, the Red Sox. First place on the line. Go get him, kid.
Yeah. 21-year-old. Made his big league debut April 22nd. Swings and misses at a fastball and falls behind Sale 0-2.
This kid's a great fastball hitter. It's a great spot for Sale now to throw that back foot slider. It just keeps working into the right-handed hitter. Let's see if Torres tamps down the leg kick here. Sometimes he does with 2 strikes, sometimes he doesn't.
He did, but he was late on a fastball, and Sale has his 2nd K.
Yeah, he stayed with the hard stuff upstairs. You know what Torres does, very interesting. If he feels comfortable against the pitcher, he'll stay with the leg kick. If he's not so comfortable, he gets rid of the leg kick, just gets the foot down quickly. More of an old school 2-strike approach. That's a compliment to Mr. Chris Sale. I don't care if you've got no strikes. It's uncomfortable against this guy.
No question. Hitters will tell you it looks like that pitch is coming from the second baseman. And it's especially not fun on left-handed hitters like this guy, Didi Gregorius, who watches a slider spin away for ball 1. One of just 2 lefties that Sale will see tonight. Gregorius out of the 5 spot, and Brett Gardner hitting 9th. Ball on a strike. Up and down year for DD. I mean, you look at April, he was the player of the month in the American League. May, one of the worst months of his career, and he's kind of steadied out here in June. Aaron Boone told us before the game, yes, April probably a bit above his head. No question. May below what you expect. June, a much better representation of what they expect from Gregorius. Strokes one to left center field. Bradley moves over to cut it off and retire the side. Sale with better luck getting out of the traffic than Gray had. 4-0 after 1. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Budweiser. Take some out to the ball game. Back in New York, we're on a Rafael Devers grand slam. The Red Sox lead the Yankees 4-0. Joe Davis, Tom Verducci, Ken Rosenthal, and Sonny Gray, who was one strike away from working a 1-2-3 first inning. And gave up those 4 consecutive base runners, capped by the grand slam. Back out there to face Sandy Leon as 8-9-1 come up, and there's strike 1. Back-to-back fastballs, 1-1.
17 breaking balls in that first inning for Sonny Gray. Austin Romine getting back on the heater.
Sticks with it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sandy Leon much better offensively the last month or so. Hit above 300 since mid-May.
That was a better 2-strike curveball, but still a little too high up. You had 2 strikes ahead of the count like that. You really wanted to break through the zone and bounce, get the chase swing.
One, 2. A bullet down the line, base hit for Leon. It gets to the wall. Leon makes the turn and has a leadoff double.
He's a very strong top hand hitter, Sandy Leon. And he just hooked this 2-seamer, trying to go away. Remember, he's been dotting up that fastball away, and that runs back over the plate. Another 2-strike mistake by Sonny Gray. And you cannot make these 2-strike mistakes against this Boston Red Sox team and survive.
We've got 4 hits now, Tom. 3 of them have come with 2 strikes. Up comes the 9-hitter Jackie Bradley, who cuts and misses on a fastball. Jackie Bradley starting to get it going. 8 for his last 16 with 2 home runs. Early on, just wasn't good, and then got to the point where he was making some hard contact. There was a little bit of bad luck involved. But lately he's been finding some holes and finding the seats. Strokes one to left field. Brett Gardner makes the catch, and Bradley's the first out. Mookie Betts headed to the plate. Mookie wearing the microphone for us tonight. Here he was on that home run from Devers. I thought he was getting a towel because he shook so many hands and wanted to clean off, but no.
The man needs his props. I like him getting out of the dugout there, getting riled up.
He's got Leon at second and one away here in the second. And looks at a first pitch strike. Now Mookie Betts a year ago, by most standards, had a good year. But by the standards that he set, especially the year before that when he finished runner-up for MVP, it was a bit of a down year. And so by many measures, he's the most improved hitter in baseball from last year. Takes the ball. It's 1-1.
Well, especially in the power department. Slugging gone way up this year. And Joe, this guy is, to me, the best fastball hitter in the big leagues. This guy can time a jet. Gets those hands with that little rhythm he starts going. Always gaining ground on the velocity. And part of it too is his discipline is actually improved as well. It's hard to get him out of the strike zone, to get him to chase. So if you have to come in with fastballs to Mookie Betts, most times you're going to get hurt.
See where Gray goes with a 2-1. He spins it low and away. 3 balls and a strike.
And not the same slider that he had in his last start so far. He started slowly in his last start, and then he went out to warm up before the second inning, and he really worked on getting extension off the fastball and then the slider. When he doesn't extend on his slider, that's when it's cement mixer. There's just no bite to it.
He walks Betts, first and second with 1 out.
Extension is where you get finish on pitches. And instead, he had been letting the ball go just a little bit too soon, flattening out both the fastball, but especially the slider. And I have not seen that same slider. He gets so many swings and misses, 11 swings and misses on the slider in the last game. Haven't really seen that pitch yet.
First and second for Benintendi with the Red Sox in front 4-0. '28-year-old Sonny Gray. That's the first one fly. Benintendi hits a line drive foul. In that first inning, Gray got Betts to fly out. He got Benintendi to ground out. And they got the 2 strikes on Martinez before all the damage started happening. Here first and second with 1 out and an 0-1 pitch.
Yeah, we talk about extension, getting that hand out in front and not letting the ball go too soon. That one he actually held on a little too long and spiked it. But right now he's fighting to find that right release point, the best extension. Typically you find it on the fastball and then the breaking ball follows.
Base hit to right. Betts did a nice move to get out of the way of it. Leon comes in to score, and an RBI single from Andrew Benintendi, and the Red Sox lead at 5-0.
Another mistake, breaking ball left up in the zone. You see where Romine wants it. There's too many mistakes against any team, but especially this Boston team. You know, I talked about how Sonny was able to sort of self-correct in the last start and find that extension, the release point. Now he's getting some help from his pitching coach, Larry Rothschild.
Trying to find it before it's too late at this point. Already a 5-0 hole. He's already thrown 51 pitches. And the Red Sox threatening for more here in the second.
This is where you have to watch Benintendi on first base here. This guy is excellent at taking sneaky stolen bases. Sonny Gray's got a ground ball double play situation here, concentrating on getting ahead of Martinez. You got to watch Benintendi.
That's foul, strike one. And the Red Sox second in the American League in stolen bases. Unique blend in this lineup of power and speed.
Yeah, and Benintendi's on his own. He is excellent at picking the pitches to run on. Typically, you're looking for a breaking ball. Been thrown out stealing once, and that was only after a review of the play.
Not running. Martinez takes a ball low. The inning turn in that first, and J.D. Martinez is at bat after Gray got ahead of him. Had 2 strikes on him. Martinez fouled several off and eventually got an infield single to start the rally. And already action in that Yankees bullpen, which after CC Sabathia's 7 innings last night is very well rested. It's Adam Warren. Martinez goes the other way, sends Judge back to the warning track to make the catch. It brings home Betts, and it's 6-0. Major League leading 65th run driven in for Martinez.
Such a great hitter. We talked about his default mode as a hitter. Velocity, fastballs, let it travel, which generally means take it the other way. You know, he feels like Sonny Gray is not going to beat him with a fastball, so you can let the ball travel. It's a terrific approach.
4 in the first, 2 in the second, and with 2 out, it's Mitch Moreland. One and 0. Moreland walked. Scored on the Devers grand slam. Talk about J.D. Martinez as a bargain. You could say the same thing about Mitch Moreland. Signed a 2-year contract, $6.5 million per year. And he's been one of the best first basemen in the American League.
A lot of high-level conversations going on there in that Boston dugout. And generally around J.D. Martinez.
Here comes Gray with a 2-0. Benintendi runs. The throw down, not close to in time. A stolen base for Benintendi.
This guy, I'm telling you, he's such a smart base runner, becoming a great base stealer, picking his spots. Gray really hadn't gone slide step throughout that sequence. Benintendi's taking notes over there. He knows what's going on. He knows the time to home plate. He got the off-speed pitch to boot.
Got into scoring position for Moreland. 3 balls and no strikes. A green light, and he fouled it off. It is a culture that they've built over in that dugout. This is on a sacrifice fly, the reception that he gets back in the Red Sox dugout, the appreciation from his teammates.
Right. Tonight all he has is a fly ball out and a little infield single, right? But 2 great at bats, and they all know that down there.
Moreland swings through a sharp breaking pitch, 3-2. Six runs on 5 hits and a pair of walks over the first 2 innings against Sonny Gray. His 6 runs already matching the most that he's allowed this season, matching the first time that he faced the Yankees. 3-2.
And once again, the 3-2 breaking ball, and again a 2-strike pitch left up. Pitch count climbing. And the majority of those thrown from the stretch position. Stressful night.
Here he comes with another payoff, and Moreland hits it hard, but a nice stop at first by Benintendi. His first career start over there. Takes a hit away from Moreland, but not before the Red Sox get 2 more. To the bottom of the second, it's 6-0. Support in this one, 6-0. We take a look at tonight's pitcher profile, sponsored by LGG7.
This is not an easy place for left-handed pitchers. You see just 1 win by a left-handed starter at Yankee Stadium this year. Arlene Garcia of the Marlins actually got that win. Sale beat New York in Boston back in April.
So you've got the best left-hander in the American League, arguably, against the best team hitting left-handers in baseball. But a huge mountain to climb in a 6-0 game as the rookie Andujar takes strike 1. Overshadowed some because of what Gleyber Torres has done. But Andujar right there with Torres in many categories, among the best rookies in the game.
Yeah, and he sees very few fastballs. He's got the changeup right there. Only Jorge Soler of the Royals sees a smaller percentage of fastballs than Andujar. That's respect. Lightning fast bat.
0-2. 3 hits last night, including a home run. 4th home run for Andujar in his last 10 games. And And that is the man that he replaced at third, and Brandon Drury. A pop up, back of first. Moreland has room. So Andujar the first out, and here comes Brandon Drury, who was the opening day third baseman for the Yankees, and then started dealing with concussions and blurred vision stemming from that. So went on the disabled list. When he was ready to come off, the Yankees had seen about a month and a half of Andujar and what he could do, and so they sent Drury to AAA, where he spent the last month and a half.
Got a crash course on how to play first base. Only had 5 games at the bag.
Yeah.
You know, it's still a work in progress over there.
Swings and misses, strike one.
You know, I had to ask him. I said, what did you do about a glove? I mean, think about it. They throw you at first base. You don't have time to break in a new glove, get comfortable with it. He borrowed one, and that's the one he's using tonight. Made that nice stop at the top of the inning.
He played 1 inning there in Arizona, which is where he started his major league career. Came over this offseason in a 3-player deal. Greg Bird, who is now going to share time with at first base, 2 home run night last night.
Yeah, share time, but I don't see a strict platoon. I would expect to see Bird in the lineup tomorrow against David Price. And I think the Yankees see that 2 home run game last night as the turning of a corner.
Backdoor strike 3. Drury back to the dugout. We go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Well, guys, it's not that Chris Sale opposes advanced metrics, but he believes only 2 stats matter for a starting pitcher: games started and innings pitched. The way Sale sees it, if you make your starts, if you pitch enough innings, all of the other good numbers will follow. And Tom and I were talking to him in Boston, Joe, and it was so refreshing to hear him. He says, hey, I start once every 5 days. The position players are out there grinding every day. When my name is called, I had better be ready.
A throwback. Well, the interesting thing is, Tom, they've kind of got to save him from himself because he's tended to wear down as seasons have gone on, and he's put more and more innings on that arm. And they've done a much better job of that so far this season.
Yeah, you can see he's not a real big guy, right? And that has been the MO of Chris Sale. He will wear down late in the season, and they are protecting against that. You know, his pitches per start is down about 8 to 9 pitches per start. Now you say, that's not really a lot, right? Well, as he told me, you can see the difference here. That's actually the equivalent of a start or 2 over the course of the season. It's like he's having a whole start off or 2 starts off.
Yeah, at this point last year, Tom, to your point, at the 17 start mark, he had thrown 100 pitches in all but 1 of his starts. This year, 7 times they've kept him under 100.
And this really began in spring training, Joe, where Alex Cora and Dana Lavangi, the pitching coach, really dialed back the workload, actually of all the starters. This is what happens when you budget to play baseball for 7 months, not just 6 months. And you're in Boston, you're preparing to have this guy and all your starters strong for October. Not sure that was the case last year, so they pushed him hard.
Payoff pitch, and Romine takes ball 4. First walk of the game issued by Sale. And he's putting up Cy Young caliber numbers for the first 4 or 5 months of the season last year. And then as those pitches started to climb in number, when you're looking at the full body of work, August, September, and then in the postseason, not nearly as good. That included game 1 of the division series when the Astros tagged him for 7 runs.
That last pitch caught my attention. That was a 3-2 changeup with a 6-0 lead to the 8-hitter. But remember how I said if Gray shakes off Romine twice, that's a lot? I'll tell you something about Chris Sale. If he shakes off 1 pitch tonight, we've got breaking news. There's that last changeup. He has never shaken off a pitch. Ever. First of all, it's total confidence, not just in your catcher, but in your stuff. 3-pitch guy, breaking ball, changeup, fastball, all of them excellent. It's like you can't lose, right? You have 3 good options. But it's something he picked up early in his career. Mark Burley played with him at the White Sox, same kind of pitcher, never shook a sign. And I talked to Sandy Leone about that, and he said, man, it doesn't get any better than catching Chris Sale. You are in the driver's seat. The pitcher will never shake you. besides that, the guy's really good.
Yeah. Can touch 100 like we just saw. Brings a 1-1 to Brett Gardner, who fouls it off 1-2.
And the comp that Sandy used was Roy Halladay, the late Roy Halladay, who was another guy who did not want to shake signs. Where you turn defense, which is what you are right now, Red Sox on defense, you turn it into offense by being so aggressive. I don't know anybody else today who never, I'm saying never, shakes off a sign.
You better trust that battery mate, and he certainly does with Leone. This one's thrown in the dirt, and it gets by Leone, allowing Austin Romine to move into scoring position. It's interesting learning from Mark Burley, who worked that way, but the stuff entirely different.
Yeah.
Right? You couldn't be more opposite in what's coming at you with that plan.
Both left-handed, and that's where the comp ends.
Uh-huh. Two balls, two strikes on the longest tenured Yankee, Brett Gardner. Today celebrating a 10-year anniversary of his debut in pinstripes. With Romine at second and 2 gone, a 2-2, and Gardner looks at strike 3, 100 on the corner. Despite a 2-out walk, no runs. As Baseball Night in America in New York continues with the Red Sox ahead 6-0. Red Sox with 4 in the first and 2 in the second against Sonny Gray. Xander Bogaerts ready to begin the third as 5, 6, and 7 come up for Boston. Bogaerts had a single as part of that 2-out rally in the first inning and scored on the Devers grand slam. Ground ball, diving stop by Gregorius, but no play. And the leadoff single for Bogaerts. And so up comes Devers with that first inning grand slam, and at 21 years old becomes the youngest player in 2,183 Yankees Red Sox games to do so, topping out a couple of inner circle Hall of Famers.
Wow. How many games did you say in the Red Sox Yankees series?
2,183.
Oh my goodness.
The youngest ever to do it. An opposite field blast with 2 strikes against Gray. Oh, Clyde Vollmer.
Of course. Doesn't quite have the cachet of Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio.
It's the last time there was a first inning grand slam in this rivalry. Devers shoots an opposite field single this time. And he has continued to improve as this year has gone on.
Well, the big improvement for me is a change he made in the stance with the help of, guess who, J.D. Martinez. Check out the difference. Back in May, he's got an open stance. The hands are higher. The front hip would leave way too early. Now with a more closed stance, the hip stays in longer. Watch the back elbow get closer to the body. That's a better swing. I talked about how early in the season, beat by fastballs away. You can see why with that front side leaking. Now watch the front side stay in. That's the pitch that was beating him in the first 2 months of the season. And for him to take that pitch the other way, barrel it up, man, that's a great adjustment. And I'm telling you, I told you J.D. Martinez makes players around him better. That is a concrete example of how he's helped this guy get a lot better.
Now 2 on, nobody out, and it's Nunez looking at ball 1. And the bullpen starts to warm again as the nightmare continues for Sonny Gray. It is still Adam Warren. It's in on Nunez, who dumps it back, and it's 1-1. He started to turn it on as well with an 8-game hitting streak. Had that knee injury late last season and thought that he was healed from it when he entered spring training, but he got into games, he got into regular batting practice and realized that he wasn't quite himself yet. And it's not been until recently that he started to feel 100%. Production starting to show that. Bounces one up the middle that Gregorius gets to and feeds Torres for the 1 out. He'll hold on to it. They're at the corners.
Yeah, these at-bats have really taken a toll on Sonny Gray. You've seen his velocity in that first inning. It was 95, 96. It's down to 92 and 93 now. They have made him work, especially the 2-strike hitting. And that is a night done for Sonny Gray.
the Red Sox this year, and they're the 2 worst of his season. He gives up 6 at least. Men of the corners his responsibility, and fails to get out of the 3rd. So on comes Adam Warren. A 6-0 game in the Bronx. Runners at the corners, 1 out. Sandy Leon. Strike 1.
Joey, here's all you need to know about Sonny Gray's stuff tonight. He threw 20 pitches with 2 strikes and never got a 3rd strike. The Red Sox went 4 for 7 on his 2-strike pitches. His stuff just was not crisp, not put away stuff. Breaking balls were rolling, not biting.
And it's the wrong group to have a night like that, where your stuff is not crisp.
How about this? This is wearing Yankee pinstripes at home, either stadium. The highest ERA of anybody who's made 12 starts or more in pinstripes.
Leon flips it into shallow center field. Aaron Judge on to make the catch. He'll gun for the plate. His throw's on the money. They've got him. A double play. And a reason for the Yankee Stadium sellout to cheer for the first time.
Ran right through a stop sign. Carlos Feblis said, "Don't run on that man." That's what happens when you do. And then there's this. I mean, this ball only traveled 254 feet. I mean, it's out in Williamsport, but you're an out right here at Yankee Stadium, especially with Judge throwing. I love the mechanics of Judge's throws. He never rushes. That was a little bit high if you want to get picky, but he throws a true four-seam ball without tail or cut.
And he's due to bat second in this inning after Aaron Hicks, who looks at a strike from Chris Sale. Yankees trying to dig out of the hole that Sonny Gray has them in. After winning last night 8-1, they trail 6-0 here in the third. And Aaron Hicks swings and misses, 0-2. Similar pitch that hit him his first time up.
doubled up on it too. I'm telling you, that pitch is literally unhittable. Right-handed hitters 0 for 27. I call it a sweeper. It's kind of in between a slider and curveball. But the bend on that pitch, where it just keeps working in on right-handers, a nightmare for right-handed hitters. And it opens up the outside of the plate if he wants to go there with a heater.
Fly ball deep center. Bradley racing back at the wall, leaps to make the catch. Jackie Bradley Jr. steals another.
As good as it gets, Joe. This guy, I mean, that's just pure athleticism at the wall, but the jump that he got on this and how much ground he had to cover. Let's watch first step. He knows exactly where this ball was going. You saw him drop his head and turn and run. All right, that's an X90 fly pattern. Like running a fly pattern down the sideline. You know where the ball's gonna be? Just get there. That's amazing. Makes it look easy.
And wait for the free safety to crush you. The wall.
Yeah, hang with him.
Aaron Judge. An 0-1 pitch. Takes it inside. It's 1-1. And for so long, the last 2 years, all the talk around Jackie Bradley has been, but he does that defensively. You're adding in what he's doing at the plate over the last couple of weeks. Bradley again becomes such a good player all around.
I just think he's so good defensively. He's an impact player.
Regardless?
I do. I mean, obviously you want him higher than 200. There it is.
Judge down on strikes, 2 out. Let's listen to Mookie Betts' reaction on this Jackie Bradley catch.
You're a bad man, cuz. You're a bad man.
Yeah, try somebody else. Still shaking his head.
Strike 1 on Stanton. Has the only hit against Chris Sale, a single in the first. Quickly falls behind 0-2. Sale with a 6-0 lead, not wasting any time, coming right at these Yankees hitters. Looking for a 1-2-3 third. Stanton digs it out and hooks it foul.
That's about the best you can do with that pitch. You know, he keeps working so far in to try to hit it fair is a chore for a right-handed hitter.
A bullet that's caught it short by Bogaerts. And on 12 pitches, with some help from his defense, Chris Sale with a 1-2-3 inning. Jackie Bradley Jr. doing what he does on Baseball Night in America. broadcast is sponsored by the LG G7 Thin Q. What's it gonna take? And by Infinity, empower the drive. Jackie Bradley Jr.'s bat has heated up. Does what he does with his defense on that last inning. The Red Sox will head home July 9th for a 7-game homestand. You can go to redsox.com to get your tickets today. And it is Jackie Bradley to lead off this inning, having lined to left his first time. Takes inside 1-1. Because he's struggled as much as he has the last year plus offensively, it becomes easy to forget that there was a 2-year stretch where he was above average offensively. OPS plus 100 is league average. Anything above it, better than average. Anything below it, worse than league average. It's a fly ball to left field for Brett Gardner. A couple years ago, I mean, he was an all-star. He had the longest hitting streak in the American League in one season, 29 games in a row. He's just trying to recapture that as we work towards the middle part of this season.
And to me, what's gotten him, Joe, is the shift. He's seeing many more shifts this year than he did last year. And that's a function. It's a nice job right there of going the other way, but just been rolling over, pulling too many baseballs. So his average exit velocity this year is actually higher. He's hitting the ball harder this year with less to show for it, and that's because of the shift.
Mookie Betts takes ball 1.
So one thing I look at, and I know the Red Sox did this too, look at the exit velocity first. Are you hitting the ball hard? That will tell you more than just your batting average, because that can be a function of bad luck. And the Red Sox were looking at his exit velocity. It actually was the 3rd highest in the month of June. I said, you're fine. Alex Cora, a big believer in the advanced metrics. In the old days, if you're hitting a $190, you know, maybe you're trying a different stance, right? Or you're standing in a different spot in the batter's box. What do I need to do differently? Well, if you show the player, hey, you're hitting the ball harder than you did last year. You're hitting it tough luck. That's all. Full steam ahead. Keep going.
It's 3-1 on Betts. I mean, if you think about this Red Sox offense, they've been one of the best in baseball, tied with the Yankees at better than 5 runs per game, and for much of the year, the bottom third of the order, with Bradley a part of that, has not contributed much. Betts rips one past a diving Gregorius for a 1-out single.
I'm telling you, Joe, this guy's got the fastest hands in baseball. You can't get a fastball in the zone by this guy. And that's what Warren tried to do. He tried to go up at 93. Watch the movement of his hand. You see how early he's ready? That's actually a flat stroke on a ball up. He's not trying to launch it in the air. Joe, he's seen more than 600 fastballs in the zone this year and missed only 22 of them. So basically once every week or so, he might miss a fastball. That's crazy.
Benintendi with 1 out takes ball 1. And this is something that the Red Sox saw even before they drafted Mookie Betts, when a lot of teams didn't have him as high on their list as the Red Sox did, taking him in the 5th round. Big part of it was the hand-eye that they knew that he had. They give him neuroscience tests. A lot of teams are doing that now. The Red Sox were ahead of the curve when it came to that when he was drafted in 2011. But they noticed through this testing elite hand-eye coordination, elite quick decision making, and it's manifested in his major league career, now in his 5th season.
Well, you're right. Back in the day, Theo Epstein actually had an exclusive contract with a Cambridge tech company for that kind of technology. Mookie was, I think he was in lunch period in high school, and a Red Sox scout showed up at school and brought him out of class. They gave him a laptop, and it's almost like a video game where you'll see a spinning baseball and you have to decide whether to swing or not and when to swing. And the Red Sox had a baseline.
That's runs. It's at foul.
Because they had trained some of their major league players, including David Ortiz, on the same software. And when they got the reports, the results from Mookie's test, he was right up there with the very best, almost off the charts in terms of pitch recognition and reaction time. And you're right, not a lot of people were on Mookie Betts, certainly that high in the draft. The Red Sox moved him up in large part because of that testing. A lot of people thought he was a better bowler than baseball player in high school. All-state bowler.
Still loves doing it. He's a first with one out as the 1-2 comes home and Benintendi hits it foul. And now, you said just about every team has some kind of neuroscience testing they do on their prospects and on their minor leaguers. Some teams will even have little tournaments among their minor leaguers. Video game tournaments, spring training. Another 1-2. Just got him swinging. For out number 2, it's time for a game break. We say hello to Mike Hill. Tom, what do you think? The Braves for real this year already?
Wow, ahead of schedule for sure. You know, the depth of the pitching staff for me will tell. We saw this a little bit last year with Milwaukee, right? Milwaukee was a first-place team for the better part of 4 months and just kind of ran out of steam late in the year, and the Cubs ran them down. How about this note? These guys all leading at their positions in the All-Star voting. A long time since the Braves turned out position players like that.
JD Martinez. It's the first one foul from Warren, and it's 0-1. Still got the Phillies hanging around there. The Nationals continue to kind of spin their wheels in place. Nationals going to host the All-Star game July 17th right here on Fox. Got to figure Bryce Harper's going to get right.
Oh, yeah.
And the Nationals are going to be around towards the end of the year.
Yeah, but the Braves and Phillies I don't think are going to go away anytime soon. So I don't think they're going to separate themselves, the Nationals.
Standings in the National League East right now. Who finishes with a better record, the Marlins or the Mets?
Oh, come on. Are you picking on the Mets, Joe?
I'm saying they're tied and talking about the race to the top. How about the race to the bottom?
Yeah, draft position, right? And it all depends on who gets dealt. Some of those non-contenders do not get stronger as the season goes on. They get weaker by moving chips.
Martinez offered 1-2.
Called this on the swing. That's probably a good call. One thing those base umpires do is they look right down the chalk line, and if your barrel crosses the line of the chalk, most times they'll ring you up. That's not a defined rule of thumb for umpires.
Two and two on JD Martinez. Grand slam in the first from Devers. 2 more in the second. Sonny Gray fails to make it through 3. The Yankees bullpen with a long night ahead of it. Adam Warren, the first man out of the gate. Home with a 2-2. Martinez has worked it full.
I just like watching this guy in the box. Him and Joey Votto, for me, just a pleasure to watch work. I mean, look at this. The concentration is spectacular. The score doesn't matter. This guy never gives away in a bat. Always with a plan. Pitch to pitch.
The payoff. Martinez can't lay off this one that rides in. Strike 3. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. pitch. He's put up 3 shutout innings. And now to face the middle third of the Yankees order here in the 4th. Gleyber Torres struck out his first time, hitting cleanup for the first time, and here takes strike 1. Wrapped around the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike. The 21-year-old, who Yankees fans know well, was acquired in the Aroldis Chapman deal from the Cubs at the deadline in 16. Watches a fastball in there for strike 2.
Yeah, Gleyber didn't like the call, but it was probably unhittable anyway. 94 up and in. I like everything about this guy's game. You know, on defense, the Yankees talk about how he will reposition himself maybe a step or two by reading the swings of batters. The comp for me, given how advanced he is at a young age, is Robbie Alomar.
Foul tips 97 into the glove, strike 3 in the 6th for Chris Sale. Well, the World Cup knockout rounds continue tomorrow on Fox. It's Spain and Russia at 9 a.m. Eastern, and then Croatia and Denmark. You can catch all the action on Fox or stream it live on Fox Sports app. A couple big upsets today. 2 best players in the world knocked out on the same day. Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo losing 1-goal matches. Gregorius takes ball 1 inside.
A lot of runs today. I mean, goals.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 4-3. That's a shootout. A crack bat, pop back to Sale, and he's making them look bad right now.
He's having fun out there. Why not? You can get in Didi's kitchen, break the bat, and get it put out yourself. Could have called a fair catch on that one.
Got a couple football references in. Calendar about to turn to July. Preseason games a little more than a month away. Here's Andujar with 2 out.
You know, when you say that, Joe, I always think of Brian Jordan. Remember him?
Yeah.
Played in the NFL and, of course, Major League Baseball. And he'd be playing baseball, say, for the Cardinals, Braves during the season. And right around this time, he would say, I feel like I need to hit somebody. I'm getting ready to hit somebody. It's that time of year.
Fly ball to center. 1-2-3 inning for Chris Sale on 9 pitches. New York for a 3-game series on Monday. You can get your tickets by going to Yankees.com. Joe Davis, Tom Verducci, and Ken Rosenthal as Adam Warren goes back out there and pumps in a strike to Mitch Moreland. Bogaerts endeavors to follow in this 5th. Two.
Well, you know Moreland's a pull hitter. Look where Gleyber Torres is playing, how deep he is. Nobody on base, obviously. By yourself, more range. That's one thing about the shift. I know the shift can give and also can take away, but especially against left-handed hitters who don't run well, ball not play there, it has really harmed them.
One gone here in the 5th inning as Adam Warren strikes out Moreland.
That's why I'm starting to think this idea that, you know, if you don't outright ban shifts, the proposal that an infielder would have to play with at least 1 foot on the dirt. And we have few balls in play as it is, fewer than any time in baseball history. But by bringing them in on the dirt, maybe you're opening up a little bit more of a hole.
Here's Bogaerts. Because right now you see so many line drive base hits getting taken away by the guy playing in medium short right field.
Yeah, that rover position. A lot of these second basemen, Torres is one. He's got a shortstop arm. Jason Kipnis plays so deep in that rover position. You're right. It's not just defending ground balls now. You're defending hard hit line drives that were base hits for 100 years.
One and one.
And I know you don't want to stifle innovation. That's part of the strategy of the game, right? When you think about the NFL, they're always balancing offense, defense with rule changes. You know, basically you can't hit a receiver after 5 yards. That opens up the game. Basketball and the ban of the zone defense.
2-1. Kenny, you have more on this topic.
Guys, for years we've expected hitters to adjust, to go the other way, to drop bunts, do all the things that might be helpful toward teams easing up on the shift. And guess what? It hasn't happened. I talked to the commissioner, Rob Manfred, a few weeks ago, and he said, listen, I prefer the game to correct itself, but if it's not happening, we have to look at other things.
That's a great point, Kenny, and it's actually gone the other way. What we first thought as shifts proliferated, that hitters would adapt and go the other way and drop bunts, as you said. The exact opposite happened, where it became, well, to beat the shift, I now have to hit over the shift, trying to hit more balls in the air, which leads to more swings and misses, which leads to more strikeouts. So I don't see self-correction on the horizon in terms of more balls in play. I think it's going to have to take some change in rules.
Here's Devers taking a ball. He's 2 for 2 tonight. He's gone the other way both times. Home run, grand slam home run in the 1st inning. And then an opposite field line drive single in the 3rd. One and one. Let's go back down to Kenny.
It's the conflict between efficiency and entertainment. The most efficient way to prevent runs? Shift away. But if you're talking about an entertainment product, that's where baseball has to be concerned.
That's a great point, Kenny. And I think the entertainment portion does matter. It might not to a general manager or a manager. In fact, the Yankees are one of the better teams at the efficiency of their use of shifts. Aaron Boone telling us their pitchers are extremely happy. A lot of times you hear pitchers moan and groan. If the ball goes the other way, it beats the shift. His pitchers are very satisfied because it's been working. You watch the way they defend Devers here. Aaron Judge is squeezing right center field. That tells you Devers doesn't really pull the ball down the right field line.
It's a ground ball past a well-positioned Gregorius for a 2-out hit.
Well, that was a good example. You're right. He was well positioned. And watch the way the defense is positioned here. For 100 years, this is a base hit up the middle. It was almost a 6-3. Ball really skipped on Gregorius. Good at bats tonight for the young man, Devers.
3 for 3. Keeps this inning alive for Eduardo Nunez on the 9th hit of the night for the Red Sox. Nunez 0 for 2, falls behind 0-1. Adam Moreland replacing Sonny Gray partway through the 3rd inning. And he's doing what the Yankees bullpen has been doing all year. That's throwing up zeros. Especially here in June. Historically good. The Yankees pen.
The thing that jumps out for me, well, everything, right? That strikeout percentage. I mean, you talk about a few balls in play. And Aaron Boone has so many good options. I don't think he has to worry about overworking.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. We're halfway home in New York. A long time since this rivalry has been the center of the baseball universe the way that it is this year. Tonight's game summary sponsored by Budweiser. Grand slam in the first for Devers, giving plenty of support to Chris Sale. They got 2 more in the second. 6-0 to the bottom of the 5th. Brandon Drury leads off the inning against Chris Sale, who gave up a single in the first inning to Giancarlo Stanton and has retired 11 of 12 since. Oh, 0-2. Boy, what a fun guy to come back to the majors to face if you're Brandon Drury.
He's just happy to be back. This guy is a major league hitter who's just, and the team is so deep. He's buried in AAA.
And Sale makes quick work of it. Strikeout number 7. And 1 away in the 5th. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Boost Mobile. The Yankees have had the better of the Red Sox here in New York this year, winning 3 of the first 4 games, but it's all Red Sox through 4.5 here. Joe Davis, Tom Verducci, Ken Rosenthal, and Austin Romine to the plate with 1 out. Drew the long walk against Sale tonight, and here takes strike 1.
Just think if you're a right-handed hitter and you're facing Chris Sale, and watch the sweep on this ball. And again, hitters do not have a hit the entire season against that down and in breaking ball from Chris Sale. It just keeps working towards you. The fact that he has such an offset release point. And that, I mean, most pitchers release the ball pretty close to the width of the rubber. Only Sean Manaea of Oakland has a release point farther offset.
Turned back around up the middle. Nice play at second by Nunez to get Roman.
So I want you to show you how far that ball moves. Here's the release point. This is earlier in the season against Gary Sanchez, and how far this ball travels. That is almost 5 feet of break. It's from release point to where the ball winds up. So as a hitter, the ball's just not coming over the plate. It's coming at you. It's almost like, you know, playing water balloons with your younger brother and you're thrown around a corner. Right,
Come
now
on.
I want to make sure he's okay. That ball looked like it went right through his legs as it came through the middle.
Want to be extra safe. He says, I'm fine.
Well, you heard Kenny talk about how old school Chris Sale is. It takes more than this to knock him out of the game. Whew. Through the wickets.
It's a moment in his life where it paid to be wiry. Brett Gardner. Strike one.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to Chris the other day about that uniform. He said he wears a size 42, narrow. He has it tailored to be even more narrow. And he said, I really could wear a 40, but that's kind of embarrassing for a big leaguer. I probably have the only 42 jersey in the big leagues. He gets it 2 inches longer on the bottom to stay tucked in, and the sleeves are an inch longer because his arms are so long.
He doesn't want to rock this medium. Sun's out, guns out.
So I said, well, what do you do on dress shirts? You have to have them custom made? He's a t-shirt kind of guy, so he tells me, I don't wear them. Not a problem.
Team charter, whatever.
They go casual. They can go polos. Yeah, no jacket and tie like the old days.
One, two.
Wiry and strong. Reminds me a little bit of Ron Guidry, Louisiana Lightning, where he can generate so much power without the heft. It's the speed of his body, the way he jumps at the hitter.
Sale looking for a third consecutive 1-2-3 inning. Gardner puts it in play. At third, Devers throws him out. Rafael Devers with a nice play to finish the Yankees in the fifth.
Nice athletic play. Shortstop range right there.
sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Verizon. Now go mix and match family unlimited plans. Sandaleon to lead off the 6th inning for the Red Sox in the 2018 Camping World MLB All-Star Ballot. Open and exclusively online. You can vote for your favorite players at MLB.com/vote and catch all the excitement of the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard right here on Fox, July 17th. Giovanni Gallegos comes in to pitch, delivers strike one. Gallegos, the 3rd pitcher of the night for the Yankees after nice work from Adam Warren, 2 2/3 shutout relief, following Sonny Gray's 6 runs over 2 1/3.
You know, back in the day, they used to say the quickest route to the big leagues was to be a catcher, right? Always demand for catcher. Now I believe it's a guy like Gallegos, fastball slider combo. The bullpens are loaded with 2-pitch guys. You don't need a 3rd pitch. If you do, great. You really don't need one. You better throw hard. And the fastball slider combo is what plays. You don't see too many guys come in who throw sinkers or even breaking balls out of bullpens. He's one of the best right there, Craig Kimbrell. More of a power curve than a slider, but upper 90s velocity.
All about avoiding bats.
Exactly. From the 6th inning on. You know, what we used to think of as closer stuff, you see that early in the game now.
0-2.
By the way, you're talking about the All-Star game and the voting. I think they're still leading. The American League outfield. Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts, Mike Trout. I mean, guys just now getting into their primes, the 3 of those. You could be watching them for years and years and years at the All-Star game.
Leon down on strikes, 1 away in the 6th. Yeah, you've got Betts, who's 25, Judge, 26, Trout,
26. He turns 27 next month. I mean, this guy we know is the best player in baseball, right? He's actually better this year. He keeps getting better. Big reason why is lead the major leagues in walks. His plate discipline, which has always been good, is spectacular this year.
Ball 1 on Jackie Bradley. It's going to be his 7th All-Star game. Good chance he wins the 3rd MVP. Well, a couple guys here in Boston doing their best to be part of that conversation. Mookie Betts, JD Martinez. You think it is Trout's to lose, though? I mean, as good a years as Betts and Martinez are having, is it Trout's?
I think I start the season that way. Yeah, he's the chalk.
To 2-0. That's hard hit, base hit. Jackie Bradley with his first hit of the night. Up comes Mookie Betts. We were talking fashion with Chris Sale. Mookie was talking fashion with Aaron Hicks.
Two pair of what? Socks?
3 pair of socks?
2 pair of socks.
3 pair of socks.
And long leggings.
And long leggings?
2 pair of long leggings.
2 pair of long? I was wondering how you was looking a little big.
That's why. And I got my jersey too small too.
And what else? You got some knee pads on too?
Yeah.
It's 90 degrees, Mookie. How many layers do you have on? 4?
Oh, I guess when you're about 180 pounds, you gotta look bigger. Those are good stuff there between Aaron Hicks and Mookie.
One of the bright stars of the game, Mookie Betts. We really do appreciate him putting the microphone on for us. Whole another level of entertainment.
Oh yeah, this guy's got a great personality, no question about it. And you can see the joy with which he plays the game. But I found it interesting, Joe, that Alex Cora, the Red Sox manager, was telling us how hard he is on himself. That's why he's great, but he said if you talk to Mookie on a daily basis, it's like he's hitting 200. He's one of the best players in the game. So it's very high standards for himself, and generally, he's pretty darn close to him.
There were some nagging injuries last year, thumb and wrist. And a lot of that came from the fact that he just takes hundreds of extra swings every day.
Yeah, it's something I think he'll learn about. I think there is a point of diminishing return, certainly as you age. In fact, I was just talking to Mike Trout about that. Mike Trout has not taken batting practice on the field the entire season. He says, now I stay off my feet as much as I can. He'll hit in the cage underneath in the air conditioning, especially on a day like today. But he said it's mostly about just preserving his body, getting off his feet.
Bradley takes off on a high pitch, throw down, not in time. Jackie Bradley has stolen second.
Running Red Sox. Another high leg kick. And if you're wondering, 6-0, it's still a ball game, folks. We're talking about a team that leads the major leagues in home runs, the New York Yankees. They're not out of it. You keep competing, keep playing.
Full count on Betts. 1 for 2 today with a single and a walk on this 3-2. He lays off. And 1 out walk, his second of the day. First and second. Andrew Benintendi. 7th overall pick out of Arkansas in 2015. His heart had to be broken this week. What a tough way for them to lose in the College World Series final.
Yeah, I gave him my condolences last night. He's like, hey, that's baseball. It's easy to say now that he's no longer there.
Right.
It'll be a long time before the Hogs get over that one.
He's the SEC Player of the Year there. And after he was drafted, top prospect in baseball, big league debut a year after.
Got some fans in the stands in New York.
Yeah. That was Benintendi.
Very nice.
Two on with 1 out, and on an 0-1, Benintendi swings and fouls it. Celebrate his 24th birthday next Friday. Native of Cincinnati, Ohio. He's had that same left-handed stroke since he was 5 years old. His dad taught him that in the backyard, feeding him tennis balls. Another tireless worker, fits in great in that clubhouse with the way that he loves hitting. Behind 0-2, takes it high.
One of the things you might be surprised about, Andrew, he's among the league leaders in getting hits on pitches out of the strike zone. That speaks to that swing you were talking about, Joe. It's a pretty swing, and he's got tremendous hand-eye coordination. I've seen him hit some home runs. Get a curveball down at the shoe tops in Minnesota on pitches out of the zone.
Chases up here. Yeah, he's out number 2. Up comes J.D. Martinez. And his 25 home runs this season. You know, the acquisitions this offseason, really Stanton was the headliner across baseball. But Martinez has been better in his first season in his respective uniform. 25 home runs, leading the majors. Stanton is second among players with new teams. And getting better lately.
A lot of players in Boston, new to that city, have gone through a break-in period, sometimes an entire season. This guy hit the ground running.
Compares really favorably to what Manny Ramirez did in his first half in a Red Sox uniform, 2001, coming over from Cleveland. Almost identical batting average and home run total, in fact, over the first 81 games. We've got Martinez right now at 322 with 25. Ramirez was 331 with 25 through his first 81.
And just to carry the comp, Joe, very similar approaches in terms of not getting out front, not getting on balance. If you can find a swing of Manny Ramirez or JD Martinez where they're out on their front foot and the top hand is coming off the bat because they're fooled on off speed, I want to see it. Because when you approach, your approach is let the fastball get deep, you're not going to be caught out front on balance. You might get beat late, but you're not going to be beat out in front.
Shoots one the other way, base hit. Bradley's in to score. Betts headed for third, and an RBI single from JD Martinez, who's driven in his second run of the night.
I'm telling you, that's just poetry what this guy does at the plate. Time after time. Again, this is a fastball that he's going to let travel deep into the zone. It's actually in. And he still barrels it up. Watch that back hip. To me, it's all about the back hip. He stays loaded on his back hip so long. That's why he doesn't really get out front.
The story has been well told at this point. But a guy who in his first 3 years in the majors was a below average hitter in Houston. At the corners, 2 out, Mitch Moreland. Lifts the first pitch the other way to Brett Gardner. That will finish the inning, but the Red Sox add one, and a base hit from Martinez. To the bottom of the 6th, we go 7-0. Chris Sale against the top of the Yankees order as we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's been dominant again tonight with 7 Ks. Haven't allowed just a Giancarlo Stanton single in the first. Aaron Hicks, strike one, which we've said time and again tonight.
It's amazing. He's so tough to ambush, Chris Sale, because he uses his 3 pitches almost equally on first pitches. Fastballs 38%, changes 31%, breaking balls 31%. So what are you going to sit on first pitch? Those are his first pitch choices and the percentages.
One and two. And so with what we discussed earlier, where he's just following Sandy Leon's lead, you have to give credit to Leon for being an unpredictable game caller.
There you go. He hasn't given up a home run since September 26, 2017 on the first pitch. It's amazing.
It's that back foot breaking ball that Hicks is able to lay off this time.
And it doesn't get much easier after the first pitch. You're looking at the best, for me, best left-handed pitcher in the game. It was automatically Clayton Kershaw for many years.
It's off of the disabled list again. Kershaw has made a couple of starts coming back from his back injury. Still hadn't quite been himself this year. Well, Chris Sale has been that and then some. Especially good here in June. Home with a payoff pitch. We'll do it again. He's the top earned run average in the American League the last 6 seasons. Been an all-star 6 straight years. It's hard to believe that he still doesn't have a Cy Young, even though he's in the discussion every single year.
And once again, he's in the discussion. You're right. Look at this. It's like in golf, the best player never to win a major. It's the best pitcher never to win a Cy Young Award, active pitchers.
And for him to get one, it's going to require him finishing seasons more strongly.
Right. I think he was in position last year going into September to win the award.
They're efficient tonight. These numbers include tonight the lowest earned run average against the Yankees in the live ball era. Goes back to 1920. 3-2.
Well, you mentioned, Joe, how good he is in June. And for me, a lot of that was Hicks fouls off that 98-mile-an-hour heater. His velocity has really played up this month. You know, he's a guy in the early part of the season who's throwing 93 in April, 95 in May. In June, he's up at 97 on average. We've seen him hit 100 a couple of times tonight.
Hicks doing a nice job to stay alive. Be a 9-pitch at bat. There you go. Hardest pitch of his season was his last pitch against Seattle on Sunday. Over 100. And he's touched 100 again tonight.
And for me, Joe, it's something that he's done with his delivery to find that extra gear.
Wins the battle with Hicks on the 10th pitch.
Yeah, I want you to show he started the season with using, I call it an abbreviated windup. David Price likes to use that. You see on the right, that's what he's using early in the season. Well, back in 15, throughout most of his career, he did start with his shoulders square to the plate. Now he was starting for the first couple of months of the season in that kind of side saddle, almost a stretch position. And now this last 4 starts, he's gone back to shoulders square, creating rhythm. And to me, not create just rhythm, you create body speed and arm speed. And I think also some deception, especially when you're as long and lanky as Chris Sale is. And you say, why would pitchers just go to this simplified delivery? What they like to do is plant their plant foot on the rubber and have it there consistently every time. The way he pitches now, he's going to have to step into the rubber, so the plant foot is a little bit different each time. Sometimes you're a little off balance. Watch him step in with the left foot. But when you do that, you lose some of the momentum that your body can create with a traditional windup. Watch the step in with the foot here. And he told me he felt like he just wasn't getting the same power in that abbreviated delivery. Boy, he's working quite the hole on that mound there.
2-2 on Judge.
And that's, to me, is a function of, I talked about how he almost jumps at the hitter, right? See, he's got the protective toe on that foot. When he leaves the rubber, he really leaves the rubber. He pushes off so hard, stays on his back leg so well, really bends on the back knee. And then when he leaves the rubber, that back foot will come way off the ground because he gets so much weight to his front side. It's almost like an efficient machine, maximizing that wiry body See if it's challenge time right here. Full count to Aaron Judge.
Strikes him out for the third time tonight.
That's not fair. The judge is saying, man, 7-0. You think you're going to come at me? 3-2. Nope. You get the slide piece.
9th K total for Sale tonight. 7 of the 9 swinging. Judge now in his career against Chris Sale has struck out in 13 of his 18 at-bats. With 2 out, Giancarlo Stanton still the owner of the only hit tonight for the Yankees, a first inning single. Since then, 1 base runner. Came on a 2nd inning walk. Jeez. What are you going to do?
Yeah, 3 pitches. He doubled up on the changeup there. 3 put-away pitches. Changeup, breaking ball, fastball. Fastball up.
Strikes out the side with 99 to the top of the Yankees order. Bogaerts to lead off the 7th for the Red Sox. They lead 7-0. Higashioka in to catch. What's on the roster right now is the backup to Romine with Gary Sanchez out for another few weeks. One dip slow, ball 1 on Bogaerts.
I like that move by Aaron Boone. You know, Romine obviously is pretty much their everyday catcher with Sanchez out. He's going to be playing tomorrow. Get him off his feet. A little bit of a break.
1 ball and 1 strike. July tomorrow.
How about that?
Jeez. Ground ball to short. Gregorius has it, and Bogaerts the first out of the 7th. July tomorrow. That means the trade deadline is a month away. Ken Rosenthal, what's that picture looking like for the Yankees?
Well, you remember, guys, last year the package they gave up for Sonny Gray for 2+ years of control of Gray. It was pretty good. Dustin Fowler, 2 for 4 with a home run today for the Oakland A's, who I can't believe I'm saying this, are 8 games above 500. Pitcher James Caprillion, he was in that deal as well, coming off Tommy John, and infielder Jorge Mateo. Well, those players were all expendable to the Yankees at the time, and now, a year later, they need a starting pitcher again. So where are they? Guess what? They're in the same position. They've got players to trade, plenty who are expendable to them, who could help other clubs. The real question is, who will be available to them? There's been a lot of talk in New York about Jacob deGrom or Noah Syndergaard going crosstown. Tom knows, I know, we all know. The chances of that are extremely slim. Michael Fulmer is a name that's out there. There are others as well, but the problem for the Yankees might be that there isn't an impact top-of-the-rotation starter who is going to be traded. Jay Happ, potential free agent from the Blue Jays, very good. I'm not sure he's exactly what the Yankees have in mind.
Well, Kenny, I don't want to overreact to one start, but when it comes to Sonny Gray, it's been really season-long lack of consistency, inability.
That's a high fly ball to right field that sends Judge to the warning track. He measures it up, he leaps, and it's off the top of the wall. Devers has a 4-hit game. Just barely misses his second home run of the night. Judge just barely misses robbing a home run.
Yeah, you see the Red Sox on the phone. I think they want to take a look on this, whether it actually crossed over the wall and hit this fan off the end of the glove. I know that stayed in. I thought perhaps maybe that fan had touched it, but that's a live ball in play.
Rejected at the rim.
Well, it's a boundary call, so Alex Cora can ask the umpires to get together without formally using a challenge. This is where baseball was played before replay. The umpires will get together. But Kenny, getting back to my point on Sonny Gray, you see Judge with that leap at the wall, great effort. It does the start from Gray kind of increase the urgency, if you will. And again, taking a longer look at his work this season, that the Yankees prioritize starting pitching.
No question. And with Gray's struggles, with CC's age, with Tanaka being on the DL, with Jordan Montgomery out for the year, there has been an issue really all season, and it's one they anticipated. I expect they're going to do something, and maybe something even big. They've got 40-man roster issues, so they have players that they can trade because they can't protect them in December. They've got guys like Brandon Drury and Clint Frazier and Tyler Wade. Excess pitching as well. There's plenty to trade. The question is, how do they get it done?
They do rule this a double after taking a look. First 4-hit game for Devers since his first week in the majors.
I like when Kenny drops in something big there.
What you hitting at, Kenny?
It's the Yankees after all, right? They aim big.
That's how they roll, guys. We all know it.
He's right, though. They do have a lot of chips. You got position players backed up in the minor leagues.
Nunez with a man at second and 1 out. Red Sox trying to add to this 7-0 lead. Strike one. How about the other side, Kenny? What's things looking like for the Red Sox?
It's a much different situation because they are so close to the highest level of the luxury tax threshold, $237 million. The penalties increase as you get closer to each threshold, as you pass each threshold. And then if you go past 237, you also have your top draft pick bumped down 10 spots. Dave Dombrowski said again today, they are willing to go past $237 million, but they would prefer not to. The X factor for the Red Sox are their injured players. They have Tyler Thornburg coming around. They've got Drew Pomerantz and Stephen Wright, who will rejoin their rotation. They've got Dustin Pedroia, who may come back as well. In fact, Alex Cora expects him to play a role in the second half. So they might not need much. I would expect they'd shop for a reliever. That's what they did last year at this time, and teams, contenders, always want extra bullpen help at this time of year.
The other issue for the Red Sox is that they don't have nearly as many chips as the Yankees do.
That's correct. The Yankees farm system, Baseball America rated the second best in the game at the start of the season. The Red Sox were 24th.
So we're talking about the starting pitching market not being flush with slam dunk choices for the Yankees if that's the route they're going to go. So maybe they do, like you said, look to get outs on the other end of the game. In its simplest form, it's about getting 27 outs. And more and more you're seeing teams willing to do that from the back. There are plenty more of those guys at a high level available. A ball and 2 strikes on Nunez with a man at second and 1 out. Gallegos strikes him out as he flails at it, 2 away. Let's go to Mike Hill for a game break. He is tonight's owner of a perfect game into the 6th inning. Sandy Leon with 2 out.
Are you like me with these alerts? Like every night, so-and-so has a no-hitter through 6.
We need a new threshold.
Yeah, we got to bump that up.
Strike 1. And we were joking earlier, half of the time you get the notification, you say, wait a minute, who's that guy pitching for these days? Right? They're not even the big arms that are taking no-hitters in perfect games deep into outings.
It's hard to get a hit. It's actually harder to get a hit in today's game since the DH in '73 than ever before.
Here's an 0-1 to Leon. Even an offense as good as the Red Sox was no hit earlier this year by Sean Manaea. An offense as good as the Yankees. Watch pitchers take no hitters into the middle innings twice in Tampa. 1-2.
Last night it was a kind of a typical Yankees game here at the stadium. 4 home runs, and tonight 1 hit.
That was in the first.
He was good last night, wasn't he, CC Sabathia? My goodness.
Greg Bird hit 2 of those 4 home runs, and Duhar had 1. Judge had 1. That ball is belted to right field. How far will it go? Into the second deck for Sandy Leon. The Red Sox routing the Yankees. It's 9-0.
That's what happens when sliders don't slide. Earlier in the game, I talked about Sandy Leon as such a strong top hand. Watch him turn this around. That was loud. Yeah, right away. If you had your back to the field, I think he knew that ball was gone.
Now Bradley. So that bottom of the Red Sox order that's been an issue for much of the year. They're getting it going lately. They've got it going tonight. Devers out of the 6th spot with a 4-hit night, including a grand slam. And now Leon's second hit is a 2-run home run. Bradley up the middle, positioned perfectly as Gregorius. And the inning is over. We stretch at Yankee Stadium. All Red Sox tonight. Back in New York, glad you're with us. Chris Sale back to the mound with just 1 hit allowed over 6 shutout innings, having struck out 10. Flipping the switch, sponsored by Boost Mobile. Taking a look at some of the work he's done tonight.
Well, listen, the Red Sox handed him 4-run lead before he threw a pitch. He knew what to do. 10 punch-outs on the night, 5 on fastballs and 5 on breaking balls. What you see is how well he used both sides of the plate with both the fastball and the breaking ball. Front door, back door, breaking balls, fastballs up, in, out. I mean, you talk about being in command. He's faced only 3 batters tonight out of the stretch.
3rd consecutive 10 strikeout game, and one of the things we've talked about that's been different this year has been Alex Cora being more aggressive with when he goes and gets him. Are you surprised that with a 9-0 lead and 889 pitches, he's back out there for the 7th?
Slightly surprised, but again, working only to 3 batters out of the stretch.
Yeah.
He's not been really stressed tonight, right? His last inning was probably his best inning. And also, Leon hits the 2-run homer with 2 outs, so nobody was up at that point. I think this is, you're looking at the finish line this inning here for Chris Sale, and if he should struggle at all, you don't want to stress him at all in this inning, you'd get him out.
Couple blowout games in this series so far. 8-1 Yankees last night, 9-0 Red Sox tonight. Finale coming tomorrow, and plenty more ahead between these teams. This rivalry as hot as it's been since 03-04. So great that it's going to end with these teams head-to-head. Fenway Park, final 3 days of the regular season.
Props to the schedule maker, huh?
Good foresight.
Sitting down there and saying, where should I finish the season for the Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees?
Doesn't it kind of seem like it should be that way every year? Just have that be a given?
Yeah, it is. Especially as you said, the rivalry is back full throttle with both teams playing so well. And to me, these games, maybe not tonight because of the score being one-sided, but they feel like playoff games because obviously both teams want to avoid that 1-game wild card. Put your 100+ wins on the line in 1 game. So this division, as close as we talked about this, they really haven't been separated by more than 2 games for 2 months. It could come down to head-to-head games in the course of the season.
Probably will.
So you almost have to look at it as playoff-type games to decide postseason positioning.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Gleyber Torres. At this point, it would be the Seattle Mariners that would play the, on this pace, 100-win wildcard opponent. Torres chases 1 away in the 7th. It's the 2nd time in Major League history the division has had 2 teams with this winning percentage at the end of June. It happened in 2006 in the American League Central. I wouldn't have guessed that as the only other time. Tigers went on that year to win the pennant. White Sox went below 500 from there and missed the postseason. 3 times in baseball history has the division had 2 teams with 100 regular season wins. Last time it happened, the A's were the wild card team, finishing 14 back of the record-setting Mariners in 116 games that year, despite winning 102 games themselves, throwing it back to that 1978 season. One of the famous regular season series, one of the famous races between these great rivals. Gregorius takes a ball. It's 1-1.
By the way, did you happen to see the velo on that last pitch to Gleyber Torres?
Hit 100 again?
100 miles an hour on pitch number 95. Just know this about Chris Sale in terms of holding his stuff. When he goes over 100 pitches, which a lot of pitchers don't even do that, right? Batters are 1 for 18 against him. Third time around, they hit 192. And this is a different cat right here. And Kenny talked well about the old school mentality of Chris Sale. Pitching deep in the games. That's what he does.
Somebody finally puts it in play. It's been all strikeouts lately, but it's a ground out. And out number 2 of the 7. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Wells Fargo, established 1852, reestablished 2018. Last 5 starts for Chris Sale with an ERA around 1. Alex Cora talked before the game. He said, yeah, it's been impressive watching him every 5th day, but this last month, this stretch right here, he's taken it to a level that not even he has reached too many times in his great career.
And again, that coincides with him going back to his more traditional delivery out of the windup. And by the way, Alex Cora used one name to describe Chris Sale lately: Randy Johnson.
Ground ball off of the bat of Andujar. Another 1-2-3 inning for Chris Sale. 16 in a row retired for the lefty. Back to back with the action beginning at the T-Mobile Home Run Derby on ESPN July 16th at 8 Eastern, and then catch baseball's biggest stars in the 89th All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 17th on Fox. He'll be there. He'll be there. 7 shutout innings tonight, just 1 hit.
That was not a very stressful night for Mr. Sale. He made it look easy against a great hitting lineup.
Given the context of the lineup he's facing, that's among a small handful of most impressive starts this season across baseball. Jonathan Holder, the new pitcher for the Yankees, facing the top of the Red Sox order here in the 8th in a 9-0 game. Holder's been a nice surprise. One and two.
Yeah, I talked about relief pitchers with that fastball slider combo. What makes Holder so effective is he also has a very good changeup.
Action down in that Red Sox bullpen. Chris Sale's night coming to an end after those 7 innings. On 2-2, Betts rips one down the line, but it hooks to the seats. "11 strikeouts, 3rd consecutive game with at least 10. Adding to his major league leading total.
And I'll back you up on that's one of the more impressive pitching performances I've seen this season.
Betts to deep left towards the corner and off the base of the wall. Betts headed to second. Gardner's throw not in time on the leadoff double for Mookie Betts. He's been aboard each of his last 4 times. Couple of walks, couple of hits.
I never get tired of saying it, but you try to throw a fastball in the zone to Mookie Betts, that's a losing proposition. Man, his hands are so fast. And this year I've seen him really improve. He's always been good plate discipline-wise, but he's forcing pitchers into the zone to take advantage of it.
Here's Benintendi taking ball 1. And because Betts has been playing in the majors for a while now, 5th season, seems older than he is. I'd say that about several of these guys. He's only 25. Same thing with Bogaerts, who broke in when he was 20. Even Benintendi, still just 23. It's a ground ball to first. Drury will take it to the bag for the first out of the 8th.
Well, one thing I like to do, I mean, you saw Mookie earlier in the base hit with a fastball up. He's got such a level stroke. You know, he doesn't really buy too much, if at all, into the launch angle revolution trying to hit the ball in the air. And that's why I think he's so good against fastballs up as well. That one was more middle. But what I like to do is I watch guys in the on-deck circle, because that's where they'll tell you where they like the ball. The way your body naturally wants to swing the bat is what guys will do in the on-deck circle. So if you're a pitcher paying attention, if you just watch guys in the on-deck circle, they'll let you know where they like the baseball. And with Mookie Betts, he's a guy who's going to show you his natural stroke when you're getting ready to hit will be very level. So in a day and age where a lot of guys can't catch up to the fastball up, Mookie Betts has a swing path where he can easily hit the fastball up. So you ready to play along with me here?
Yeah.
Let's check out these swings. Aaron Judge, where do you think he likes the ball? Down. Didi Gregorius? Down. Andrew Benintendi? Down. Mookie Betts? Up. That's a level swing. How about Giancarlo Stanton? Oh, we got nothing. Wait a second. That's the funny thing I got to tell you about Giancarlo. He never swings the bat in the on-deck circle.
Another base hit for Martinez. Another run for the Red Sox. 10-0. Never swings in the on-deck circle.
No, with Giancarlo. Remember, we talked earlier in the game about his timing being better this month.
Yeah.
All he wants to do in the on-deck circle is time the pitcher. So for him, he won't swing before he hits, but he will time the pitcher, get the foot down and hand started. That's all he's trying to do. So he doesn't give away anything in terms of his swing path. And that guy, JD Martinez, I don't know how you get him out.
These days you don't. 3 more hits tonight, 3 more RBIs tonight. Running his major league leading total to 67 and getting Mitch Moreland to the plate with 1 out. Maniacal about his preparation, JD Martinez. There are some legendary stories about how deep his preparation is, how untraditional some of his methods are. The hitting coach, Tim Hires, who's in his first year in Boston, said that during spring training, JD was preparing for those pitchers the same way that he's preparing for pitchers going into this biggest series of the season. You couldn't tell the difference. He was in there watching video of the pitchers, watching video of his own batting practice, which he does every day, but didn't stray from that routine in March in spring training.
And folks, people just don't do that in spring training. That's exceptional. And I'll tell you the story of where that all began, Joe, in terms of his preparation. He was playing in Detroit. And he would, like a lot of hitters, go by whatever the team gave him in terms of scouting reports and analytics. New pitcher comes in the game. He'd ask, what's this guy got? Fastball, slider. And one day, after he got the usual fastball, slider, the pitcher got him out on a changeup. And he came back and he said, what's up with that? And they said, well, he only throws the changeup like 5% of the time. And at that point, he went to Victor Martinez, another professional, studious hitter.
Fly ball right field. Judge has room for this one. 2 out.
And Victor Martinez told him, that's why you must do your own work. Because as JD said, that guy who throws a changeup 5% of the time, he's going to throw it to me, right? He's one of the better hitters in the league, so he's going to see as many pitches as a pitcher has. So the thumbnail scouting report, not good enough for him. And he said, ever since then, I've made sure to do my own homework. And if I fail, that's on me. I can trust my information, and if the result doesn't work, that's on me, nobody else. And as you said, I don't think anybody puts in as much time doing homework as JD Martinez.
With 2 out, Bogaerts takes a strike at the knees. JD Martinez once released by a Houston Astros team that was coming off 111 losses. He was in the middle of changing that swing that's been well publicized at this point. Was feeling good about some of the progress he was making. The Astros had other guys coming. Martinez had had his chance. Tigers picked him up 2 days later. And over the last 4+ years, so since joining the Tigers, there's only one player that has a higher slugging than him, and his name's Mike Trout.
Wow. Well, that winter, when you mentioned the Astros releasing him, that's when he retooled his swing. And it just didn't have enough time to take root for the Astros to see what was coming.
It's funny, the Astros coming off a world championship, but a couple misses like that. You know, they have them letting Martinez go. They, of course, could have drafted Chris Bryant. But they got their rings. Hard ground ball to the Holt at short. Gregorius with a nice play, feeding second to finish the inning. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by the 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar. And by AT&T. Joe Davis, Tom Verducci, Ken Rosenthal, all Red Sox tonight. 10 runs on 15 hits. Yankees nothing on just 1 hit. against Chris Sale as night comes to an end and Heath Hembree comes on. Have a new battery mate. Blake Swihart replacing Sandy Leon. And Nunez comes out at second. Brock Holt replaces him.
He's got his cheat sheets there. Tells you where to play each batter. See more of those in the infield this year. It used to be the domain exclusively of outfielders.
Brandon Drury. Wow, look out. Fastball takes off. Ball one. Drury happy to have Sale out of there. He saw 7 pitches and struck out twice. Welcome back. Two and up. Drury, 25 years old, 4th major league season. Former draft pick of the Braves. Out of high school in Oregon. Traded from the Braves in the Justin Upton deal to Arizona and put together a few good years there, especially good early last season. Faded a little bit down the stretch, but was still somebody the Yankees had their eyes on and pulled off that trade this offseason. His versatility, the reason that he's back on this roster, and Aaron Boone saying there's a good chance he stays here for a while.
Yeah, can play multiple infield positions. Yankees have had their eye on him for a while, and he is another player who retooled his swing. He does join the launch angle revolution. I believe he went to the same hitting guru as JD Martinez.
He struck out all 3 times tonight. They, of course, were teammates at the end of last season in Arizona. World Cup knockout round continues tomorrow on Fox. It's Spain and Russia, 9 a.m. Eastern. Croatia and Denmark. All the action on Fox. You can stream it live on the Fox Sports app as well. After an exciting day of action today. Got some soccer going on right outside. Hope they're drinking lots of water.
Stay hydrated.
That is a pop fly. And out of play. Kyle Higashioka still looking for his first major league hit.
First Yankee position player. You see that right there since 1930 to start his career with the Yankees. 0 for 20.
Oh, and 2.
You know, with Swihart behind the plate here, I mean, they just have not been able to find him at bats, and you know they don't want to send him down to get work because they'd expose him to waivers. Another team can claim him, but his development as a talented young player has absolutely stalled. And the comp I go back to is back in the 90s with the Cleveland Indians. They had Enrique Wilson, very talented infielder, but that team was loaded. And he just didn't get enough playing time and spent years, really, where his skills, I thought, atrophied. And by the time he got a chance to play in the big leagues, he was not the player a lot of people thought he was going to be.
Higashioka continues to search for that first big league knock. Holt calls off Moreland. Time for a game break. We send it to Mike Hill. All right, Mike, who would have thought that the National League outfield would have Matt Kemp and Nick Markakis in it?
Not me.
Markakis, one of the 3 Braves currently leading their position in votes, as Brett Gardner takes ball 1. Yankees just 1 hit tonight. Season low is 3. And the only hit tonight came in the first inning from Giancarlo Stanton. Chris Sale at his very best. Well, the Yankees did break out last night with the 8 runs. You throw that out. Offense has been slumping over the last week or so. They're unable to get on the board. This would be the 4th time in the last 8 games they've been shut out. 2-1.
Well, I said at the top, when you play the Yankees, job 1, defend the home run. And Chris Sale, as good as there is, he has not allowed a home run since June 1st.
Now coming up in the 9th inning, here's a teaser to keep you hanging around in a 10-0 game.
Yeah,
Rafael
please.
Devers, he leads off and he's triple shy of the cycle.
Cycle watch.
You got to stay. Full count on Gardner.
So that means if he hits one in the gap, just keep running. Like
Got
Little
to.
League. You know,
Got
keep
to.
running until you get tagged.
Became the youngest player in the long history of this rivalry to hit a grand slam tonight, setting the tone for the Red Sox. It was in the first inning. It's a walk for Gardner to keep this 8th going. Yankees have their first base runner since the 2nd inning. Sarcastic cheer from what's remaining to this sellout crowd, which is actually a pretty impressive number considering the score.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure it was sarcastic. I think they're happy to cheer anything because really they haven't. I mean, the Yankees have been out of this game from the first inning, top of the first, in terms of even real threats against Chris Sale.
Aaron Hicks, strike 1.
So they can go home and say, I saw a walk by Brett Gardner.
Yeah, I was there when. So with these teams very likely splitting the first 2 games of this series, tomorrow becomes a heck of a matchup in what is a rubber match. Race to the bag, won by Hembry. That's that for the Yankees in the 8th. We go to the 9th in the Bronx. All Red Sox here in Game 2. Sponsored by Gatorade. Rafael Devers enters this at bat in the 9th inning. A triple shy of the cycle, having hit the grand slam in the 1st inning. Couple of singles, and then a double his last time out.
Really impressive. 2 hits the other way. One up the middle, one in the pull field.
Slaps one by 3rd. He'll settle for a 5-hit night.
Keep running. In case you're wondering, he's been up 573 times in the big leagues. No triples.
He is the first Red Sox player since 1969 to collect a 5-hit game against the Yankees. First guy since Reggie Smith to go 5 for 5, that is, against the Yankees. And having to dig way back on a couple of things thanks to Rafael Devers tonight. Also the youngest player ever to hit a grand slam against him. First guy to hit a grand slam for either team in the 1st inning since '51. Jason Shreve on to handle this 9th inning. 2 balls and no strikes on Brock Holt, who has a cycle under his belt.
So what's better, going 5 for 5 or getting a cycle? Say you had 4 hits and 1 of each. 5 for 5, right? But the cycle is, I don't know, it's an anomaly.
Sure. 20 of them in Red Sox history. I don't think that there's probably an easy list you can find of 5-hit games in Red Sox history. That's a little more common. So I'm going to go with the cycle.
I think you're good on that.
No. Holt down the line to left. That is a foul ball. Jason Shreve, the lone left-hander out of the Yankees bullpen, has really struggled. Although the last 2 times out, he's been able to right the ship, put up zeros after a 7-outing stretch where his ERA was around 10.
Yeah, he looked good last night. One of the rare left-handed splits in the game. When he's on, that neutralizes left and right.
Going to the phone and seeing what the video room thinks. Video room thinks check it out.
Very close here. Let's see if we can see any dirt, white chalk pop up here. I don't think so. I don't think they're going to win that anyway.
Right. If it was called fair, it'd be hard to overturn foul, and it's called foul. It's going to be hard to change into a fair ball.
Yep. You got to back up your player, though. That's a knock for Brock Holt if it's overturned. Every hit is precious. You never take it for granted. And that's why, you know, I'm sure a lot of fans are saying, the score's 10-0, it doesn't matter. Tell that to Brock Holt.
Right.
I literally have heard players say, every hit is precious, I want them all.
That's in the dirt. Up to second goes Devers. And the count goes full on Holt. Holt cycle was back in 2015, June 16th, 2015. Flips his bat out there and serves it into left for a base hit. Devers headed for the plate, throws cut off, and the Red Sox lead to 11-0. As Holt comes up with an opposite field single.
That's how you hit the ball the other way and beat the shift. You want to pitch me soft away? I'll take it the other way. Devers almost took out Brian Lenora at the plate there on that slide as well. Hey, that's a nice Nadal backhand right there. It's an interesting slide here by Devers. Look out! Wow.
Swihart takes a strike. Devers, you mentioned, came up to start the inning looking for a cycle. It's triple short. Mookie Betts has been wearing the mic for us tonight. That was a topic of discussion for him in the dugout.
So you get the cycle.
Yeah. Brock did it.
Did he really?
So Brock had, I think it was 2015. Brock was leading off. I was batting second. So we both had a chance. Back-to-back cycles. He was leading off.
Kidding me. Has that ever
Brock,
happened?
I don't think that's ever happened.
I don't think so.
Brock hit a last at bat. He hit a triple for the cycle. I needed a homer for the cycle. Flew out to left. Same week.
Awesome. Like I said, that was 2015. Swihart down on strikes.
So I got to tell you, the first game that I brought my two sons to, they were very small, it was at Fenway Park. And there was a cycle and a triple play in the same game.
Wow.
And I think it's still the only game in baseball history. You talk about anomalies, that's lightning striking twice in the same spot. I was like, guys, you know, don't expect it's going to happen every time you show up at a ballpark.
Nothing one on Jackie Bradley. Boy, the cliche that you see something different every time you go to the ballpark thing. It's a lot harder to hold up for your sons after they knocked those two off the list in their first trip.
Didn't Benji Molina get a cycle at Fenway Park?
That sounds right.
Topped it off with a triple to the triangle.
Muscled to second. And they get the one out. Back in there safely is Holt.
Reminds me of the time when Greg Maddux got a triple once. It was right around the time of the Kentucky Derby. You know, the fastest 2 minutes in sports. They said his triple was the slowest 2 minutes in sports. And I thought about Benji Molina legging out that triple for a cycle. Happened in slow motion.
That was July 16th, 2010. Molina did it with the Rangers at Fenway. Mookie Betts with two out takes a strike. He's reached each of his last 4 times up there with a single, a double, and 2 walks. Increasing his major league best slugging tonight. One and one. It's Velasquez getting ready to handle the bottom of the 9th for Boston. Got 7 tonight from Chris Sale. Now with him on the mound, game is pretty much in hand after the Red Sox offense got 6 over the first 2 innings.
Well, you made a good point, Joe, about how this sets up tomorrow night, which I thought loomed large anyway, with the pitching matchup tomorrow night. And 2 one-sided games. There's David Price. He's getting the ball for Boston tomorrow night against yet another Cy Young candidate in this league. On your left, Luis Severino. Both bullpens fully rested. Both starters saying, I got it.
Two and two on Mookie Betts. That is a loaded group of top-tier starting pitchers in the American League this year. It'll be a tough decision for A.J. Hinch who to start. No swing. Who you got?
Well,
right
remember, AJ's got to look his own
Yeah,
players
that's
in the
true.
eye. He's got a couple of choices, too. Oh, man. Look, well, you can't go wrong. You know, I was on Garrett Cole for a long time, giving him the ball.
It's like choosing a favorite
Oh,
kid,
my
though.
goodness.
Maybe he goes a different route. Betts down on strikes. Red Sox finished in the ninth. To the bottom half we go. $11 runs on 17 hits for the Red Sox. No runs on just a Giancarlo Stanton first inning single for the Yankees. Kind of an anomaly of a night here. Couple blowouts in this series so far. 8-1 Yankees last night behind 4 home runs, and then 11-0 tonight Red Sox. Setting up a rubber match tomorrow, Luis Severino and David Price. On to pitch for the Red Sox, Hector Velasquez.
Well, Joe, the last time the Red Sox came to Yankee Stadium and held the Yankees to 1 hit. It's one of the greatest games I've ever seen pitched. Pedro Martinez in 1999 struck out 17. If I could pick one game as the oil painting of Pedro's career, Pedro at the height of his powers, that would have been the game.
What year?
1999.
99. Aaron Judge struck out all 3 times so far tonight.
I believe the 1 hit was a Chili Davis home run.
Huh. Now the hitting coach of the Cubs, old hitting coach for the Red Sox. Looks like the Cubs got it going again offensively last few days. 1 ball, 1 strike on Judge.
Still got some issues with that rotation, though.
You're right.
Darvish's health. Kyle Hendricks not good lately.
Tyler Chatwood today.
Yeah.
Not pretty.
Mike Montgomery's been a staff savior.
The 3 heavy favorites in the National League, and the Cubs, the Nationals, the Dodgers, all out of first place at this point. All playing from behind into the second half of the season. Ground ball to third. Easy play for Devers. Judge the first out of the ninth. At least in the Cubs case, that's no different than where they sat last year, trying to chase the Brewers down, which they did handily. Here's Stanton with one out.
Yeah, I think Joe Maddon's teams traditionally have played better in the second half of the season. Looks like that will have to be the case this year if they want to get back to postseason baseball.
He says he takes pride in that, coming from his minor league background and the player development background. He likes to think that the team gets better because his individual players over the course of a season get better. Two-team race here in the American League East. Red Sox and Yankees, no question, are going to have a lot more compelling games than this one as the season rolls on. The 6 games head-to-head over the final couple weeks of the season, including the final 3 days at Fenway. Now, wouldn't it almost be a surprise at this point if it didn't come down to that final weekend?
To think that there'd be more than a 3-game separation to that last weekend, that would surprise me. I think for the Yankees tonight, it's so easy for them to flush this game. Obviously, you don't like it, 11-0. But the fact that Chris Sale was just so good, and there was no turning point for the Yankees in terms of not cashing in on an opportunity, they've already turned the page. Other than Sonny Gray, there's some issues there for sure.
3-1 on Stanton. Was the only hit, first inning against Sale. At one point retired 17 straight. Actually 16 straight to finish the outing. On a 3-1 pitch, Stanton cracks his bat on a one-hopper to short. That's Bogaerts. That's out number 2. And it's really the same story as the first time Chris Sale pitched for the Red Sox, in that he got all kinds of support. In the 2 games against Chris Sale, the Yankees have been outscored 25-1.
Well, when Kenny and I talked to him about, obviously his record is so good here, the lowest ERA in live ball era since 1920 against the Yankees. He talked about using the atmosphere, the energy, pitches with adrenaline. He likes that. Well, there wasn't a lot of adrenaline in the ballpark tonight.
Gleyber Torres with 2 gone takes ball 1. Now, what adrenaline there was gone when the Red Sox put together that 2-out rally in the first inning against Gray. Bouncing ball that'll get through. On to the second hit of the night. Torres had struck out each of his first 3 times up, but he's able to single to left.
There you go. Get the rally hanky going. So you're saying there's a chance?
Nope. Not this time. Last chance for Gregorius to extend his 16-game on-base streak. So the Red Sox are going to move back into first place by themselves. 81 days they've been in first this year. Got off to that 17-2 start. Faded a little bit, at least enough for a 17-1 Yankees run to get them right back into it. Neck and neck since the start of May. Not been separated by more than 2.5 since May 1st. CC Sabathia's performance last night got the Yankees back into a tie. Severino and Price tomorrow. On a 2-1 pitch, Gregorius looks at strike 2.
You see them really going almost exclusively changeups to Didi. When you talked about his hot start, a lot of that was doing damage on fastballs. He has not hit a home run the other way in his career. He's a guy who likes to hit the ball out front, but that makes him vulnerable to off speed.
Tapped up the middle. Wow, nice looking play right there by Bogaerts to finish the night. Put in the finishing touches on a beatdown. 11-0. Red Sox even the series at a game apiece. A couple blowout games over the first two of this much anticipated series between the Red Sox and the Yankees. Red Sox back alone in first place. We're going to take a break. Come back here to Yankee Stadium on the other side.